Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is a video lesson recording for General Mathematics, Module 4, Exponential Function. Continuation na lang ng virtual class natin kanina. Earlier, we were able to tackle the representations of real-life functions using exponential functions. Also, how to graph the exponential function as well as using the table of values to graph the exponential function, as well as getting the asymptotes, horizontal and vertical asymptotes, and also the intercepts, no? Although pahapyaw lang siya, pero pareho lang talaga yun siya ng steps. Tulad lang din sa rational functions and sa inverse one-to-one functions. Actually, sa lahat ng functions, ganun magkuha ng intercepts. Also, we talked about transformation sa exponential function as well as the natural exponential function. And then we tackled some real-life representations of exponential functions and its uses, like for example, in the population growth, radioactive decay, and also compounded interest. Now, I forgot earlier, no? Try natin isolve itong activity 1.1 in your module. This is an activity supposedly after nung klase natin kanina, kung baga pa. And then later on, magdiretso na tayo doon sa equations, expressions, inequalities, no, and solving this type of expressions or equations or inequalities. Okay, so anyway, sabi dito, number 1, you take out 20,000 loan at a 5% interest rate compounded annually. How much will you owe after 10 years? So, meron ka daw, nag-utang ka daw ng 20,000 pesos. Tapos 5% daw ang interest annually. And then, ang tanong niya is, magkano na ang utang mo? So, A, no? We are looking for A after 10 years. So, ang T natin is in terms of years. Ibig sabihin, no? So, after 10 years. Now, using the compounded interest na formula, no? So, A is equals to P times 1 plus R to the power of T. So, meaning the P is the principal amount. So, yung initial amount na inutang mo, 20,000. Times 1 plus 0.05 because 5% siya annually. And then, times raised to the power of t, which is in this case 10 years. Now, if you're going to use your calculator, the answer will be 32,577.89 pesos. Yun na ang utang niya after 10 years. Actually, sa second quarter, pag-aaralan pa natin to ng mas deeper, no? However, just to give you a advice right now, for example lang, hindi ko kayo ini-encourage na mangutang. But, kung meron kayong kilala na mag-uutang or meron kayong, I don't know, a friend perhaps na mag-utang, advisean nyo sila na the lesser the time na kailangang bayaran yung utang, the better. Kasi mas konti yung compounded na tubo nung initial amount. As you can see, tingnan mo dito. Tignan nyo dito, guys. After 10 years, naging 32,577 siya. This is what? Almost 60% additional to the initial amount of 20,000. Nadagdagan ng 12,577. Now, i-try natin sabihin natin, within 1 year, for example lang within 1 year, kailangan mabayaran mo na siya. So, magkano lang ang babayaran mo ngayon within 1 year? Let me use my calculator. So, 20,000, so 1 plus 0.5 to the power of 1, which is itself times 20,000. 21,000 lang ang babayaran mo. 1,000 lang ang nadagdag. Okay? Let's say, 5 years mo lang siya kailangang bayaran. Let's see the difference between 5 years and tawag dito, 10 years. I'm using my calculator right now. Let's see. years. So, 1 point something something times 20,000. So, 525.63 pesos lang ang babayaran mo. So, you can see 5,000 plus lang ang nadagdag. So, again, kung mag-uutang man in the future, but again, I am not encouraging you, but just in case, no, it's better to choose a plan na kung saan mas madali dapat bayaran yung utang. Okay? And anyway, by the way, you really have to look at the the rate, no? Kasi yung iba, 10%. Sobrang laki nun, guys. Anyway, so number 2, the population in millions, okay, in millions, of a certain country follows the exponential model, growth model, of function of t is equals to 14.2 natural e to the power of 0.018 t. Well, t years after 1994. Okay? Predict the population in the year 2020. Okay. So, sabi niya, ito daw yung model na gagamitin natin. 14.2e 0.018 t. Tapos, ang t daw is equals to 1994. Pero, ang hinahanap natin is after, no? Which is nung 2020 na population. So, ang t dapat natin is 2020 minus 1994, which is 26. Okay, so our t now is 26. So, ilagay lang natin siya dito, no? Diretso lang. 0.018 times 26. And using the calculator again, it will be 14.2 e raised to the power of 0.18. Tama ba? 0.018 times 26. So, the answer is 22.675 million ang population in 2020. Okay, so that's how you solve for the using the what do you call this one, compounded interest formula and the population growth formula. Now, going back to the lessons right now, we have to differentiate exponential expression, function, equation, and inequalities. An exponential expression is of the form a times b to the power of x minus c plus d. Almost the same as the transformation form of an exponential function. Well, actually, kung isipin mo kasi, if a is equals to 1 and c is equals to 0 and d is equals to 0, then it will still go to this form, which is the basic form of a exponential function, right? So, this is why this is the main or basic or general form of an exponential expression. Ang function naman is nasabi na natin kanina, no? Ganito rin ang form niya. This is a transformation form, or pwede rin siyang maging ganito, so long as b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1. The same condition applies to the exponential expression. Now, just like anything else, ang difference lang naman ng equation at inequalities ay, ang equation ay merong equal sign. So, let's say, you have 2x is equals to 125 to the power of x as well. Ang inequalities naman, it uses the inequality signs that we have. So, for example, you have 3 to the power of x is greater than 4. So, this is a inequality. Okay? Yan ang pinaka-basic differences nila. Now, this definition is the technical definition of an exponential expression. So, it is an expression of the form, ito na nga, no? A times b to the power of x minus c plus d. The conditions are b is always greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1. So, sa klase natin earlier, we actually reviewed the laws of exponents, right? One other thing na kailangan nating malaman ay yung one-to-one property ng exponential functions. Because remember, earlier we said that Have we said, I'm sorry, I think I forgot to mention earlier that exponential functions actually pass the horizontal line test. Diba? For example, ganito yung ano natin, yung ating graph. So, if we draw a line, a horizontal line, it will intersect at one point only. So, pasado siya sa horizontal line test. Meaning, exponential functions are also one-to-one functions. It also means that it has an inverse function. But huwag kayong mag-alala because the inverse function of a exponential function is a logarithmic function. And we will talk about that on the next module, inshallah. So that is the reason why merong one-to-one property ang exponential functions. Now, in your modules is actually stated there kung ano itong property na ito. Let me find that now. Where is that? Ito. So, if x sub 1 is not equals to x sub 2, then b to the power of x sub 1 is not equal to b to the power of x sub 2. Conversely, if b x to the power of x sub 1 is equals to b raised to x sub 2, then x sub 1 is equals to x sub 2. So, this is really helpful, guys, because it will really help you in solving equations and inequalities. So, there is a strategy here. One strategy to solve exponential equations is to write both sides of the equation as powers of the same base. Anong ibig sabihin nun? So, let's try to solve them. Let's try to solve things. Like, for example, let's have number 1. So, we have this equation. So, how are we going to solve this? Sabi niya, strategy una, no? Kailangan ang both sides ng equation should have the same basis. So, if this is 4, hanapan mo ito ng paraan na maging 4 din ang kanyang base. So, we know that 4 square is equals to 16, right? So, 4x minus 1 is equals to 4 square. Now, this is almost the same as b to the power of x sub 1 is equals to b to the power of x sub 2, right? And, remember, sabi niya nga, if that is the case, then x sub 1 is equals to x sub 2. Therefore, paano natin to siya ma-solve? We can just simply put in x minus 1 is equals to 2. Tama man. Now, solve as is. So, x is equals to, itong 1, ilipat mo dito sa kabila, magiging 2 plus 1, x is equals to 3. Okay? Paano natin i-check, no? Paano natin malaman na tama yung ginagawa natin? So, let's try to check. So, let's just substitute the value of x. So, 3 minus 1 is equals to 16. 3 minus 1 is what? 2. 4 square is what? 16. 16 is equals to 16. Therefore, we are correct. Okay? An alternate solution for this one, no? You can also do something like this. Pero, sa tingin ko, no? Alternate solution. Pampahaba lang siya. But let's say, with the same equation, sabihin natin na ang 4 is 2 square, we know, raised to the power of x sub 1. And so, ang 16 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, no? So, 2 to the power of 4. So, ang mangyayari ngayon is, we know, no? Itong part na ito, we know that this is something like this, no? Ibig sabihin, that is also equal to a m times n. Okay. So, ito siya na part, it's the same as this, no? Ito na part, the same as this. And then, yung 4, nilagay ko lang dyan, binaba ko na siya. Okay? So, now, you can simply distribute, tama ba? 2x minus 2, minus 2, yes. Tapos, just solve for x. So, ilipat mo dito yung 2. So, magiging positive. So, 4 plus 2 is equals to what? 6, tama ba? Okay. So, 2x is equals to 6 divided by 2 both sides. So, x is equals to 3. Still the same as what we have gotten earlier. Okay? So, that is one way to solve an equation. Actually, guys, kung mag-solve kayo because there's a lot of activities in the module, mapapansin nyo na ay madali lang pala ang mag-solve ng exponential equation in fairness. Okay, so number 2, let's try 125 raised to x minus 1 is equals to 25x plus 3. Not all the time guys ha, no? Merong mga times na mahihirapan kayo maghanap ng base, but not all the time kasi kung ano yung merong isa, like for example tulad sa taas kanina, 'di ba? Like this. So nahanapan natin kaagad ng base which is 4. It's quite easy. But for this part, kung 25 square nyo kasi, kung mapapansin niyo, it's 625. 25 square is 625. So, paano natin siya mahahanapan ng the same base? We can look into thinking that 25 is actually 5 square. Tama man? 5 times 5 is 25. Now, let's try to find in our calculators kung ano ba yung 125 na yan. 5 raised to 3 ba yan? It is indeed 5 raised to 3. So, this part is 5 raised to 3 raised to x minus 1. Now, using again the 1-to-1 property, we will know that 3 times x minus 1 is also equals to 2 times x plus 3. Now, just solve as is, just the way you solve linear equations, no? So, 3x minus 3 is equals to 2x plus 6. Lipat mo sa kabila itong isa. Then, lipat naman itong kabila sa isa na naman. Okay. And then, 3x minus 2x is just x. 6 plus 3 is equals to 9. So, x is equals to 9. Again, if you're going to check natin. Checking. Okay, so, 1, 2, 5, no? Diretso ko na guys ha. X minus 1, 9 minus 1. Sige, ganun na lang natin. 25, 9 plus 3. So, 125 to the 8th power and then 25 raised to 12. So, calculator. 125 raised to 8. 25 to the power of 12. Ooh. Pareho nga sila guys. Okay. Anyway, so, meaning our answer is correct. Now, for the last example, number 3, let's have 9 to the power of x squared is equals to 3 to the power of x plus 3. Now, we know that 9 is actually 3 square. And then, we have 3x plus 3. Now, using the 1-to-1 function, property of exponential functions, so 2 raised to 2x squared is equals to x plus 3. So, this is not a linear equation. This is a quadratic function, no? So, we have to form it as a quadratic function. Minus 3 pala siya. Sorry. It's equals to 0. Now, to get the solution, kailangan natin siyang i-factor out. So, ano ang, wait lang. This is not as easy factoring, no? Kasi nga, may 2 siya dito. This is a general form of a trinomial. So, alam niyo ba yung AC method? I hope you can review the AC method. So, ganito ang kinalabasan niyan. Why? Because, negative 3 times 2, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Tama man, which is this. And then, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, which is this. Okay, so I think you have to review AC method of factoring if hindi nyo na-gets kung paano ko to siya gi-factor. Actually, don't worry guys, I had to review myself as well paano to siya i-factor because mahirap kasi kung may number 2 dito. Ang madali lang talaga i-factor yung walang coefficient dyan, no? FOIL method lang yun. So, it's easy. But anyway, so, ito na yung nakuha nating roots. So, how will we know what are the solutions for this one? So, ito siya, i-equate natin to 0 and this one, i-equate din sa 0. So, it will be something like this. Okay, so this is a negative 1 automatically and this one is going to be 3. Okay, cancel. So, x is equals to 3 over 2. Now, hindi pwedeng ito agad ang final answer ninyo. Bakit? Because this is OR. This might be the answer or this might be the answer. How will we know which one is the correct answer? Checking. No? I-check natin siya. So, going back to the original equation, 9 to x squared is equals to 3x plus 3. So, unahin natin yung 3 halves. Tama ba? Tama, 3 halves. So, 9, 3 halves square is equals to 3 halves plus 3. Okay, so butihin calculator. Guys, maganda talaga kung mag-ano kayo, mag-invest sa calculator. So, this part is 140.296 is equals to 3 to the power of 3 halves. Okay, so meaning 3 halves is indeed a correct answer. It is a value of x because it makes the equation true. Okay? Try natin yung isa. Negative 1. So, 9 negative 1 square is equals to 3 negative 1 plus 2. Ito ata pwedeng mamata-mata kasi 1 square is just 1. And 9 to raise to the power of 1 is 9. And then ito, negative 1 plus 2 is 1. Tama ba? Grabe, kinailangan ko itong i-calculator, guys. I'm sorry. It is 1. Okay, so 3 to the power of 1 is 3. Tama ba? So, it is not a right solution, no? So, x equals to negative 1 is actually not a right solution. Therefore, ang sagot nyo lang dapat is this. Okay? So, anyway, guys, be specific on your sa mga solution ninyo. And make sure you, kung for example, sa tingin ninyo hindi ko maintindihan yung solution ninyo, explain nyo, not a problem, no? Magsulat kayo doon ng message or explanation. It's okay. Not a problem. Okay. So, anyway, now, ang equation, medyo madali lang, no? Usually naman talaga, dito tayo nahihirapan sa inequalities, no? Na part. Okay, so let me check the property of inequality. Ito, okay. So, sabi niya, if b is greater than 1, then the exponential function y is equals to b raised to x is increasing for all x. This means that b raised to x is lesser than b raised to y if and only if x is less than y. Now, if b is greater than 0 but is less than 1, then the function, the exponential function y is equals to b raised to x is decreasing for all x. This means that b raised to x is greater than b raised to y if and only if x is lesser than y. Guys, napaka-technical lang ng pagka-define ng properties na ito. But what it entails is that if b is greater than 1, then this is always the case. B raised to x is always lesser than b raised to y if and only if x is less than y. Okay? But if b is in between 0 and 1, the sign will change. B raised to x now is greater than b raised to y if and only if still, no, kahit mas malaki ang x sa y, baka nalito kayo ng konti. No? Let's see, ha. Ganyan siya, di ba? Because the first one, I hope the first one makes sense to you. No? Kasi nga, kung ang base ay raised to x, it is less than b raised to y. Tama nga naman, if x is less than y. Tama, di ba? Tama. Kasi nga, mas maliit ang x sa y. So, therefore, kung ano man yung base na gi-raise mo sa x, is definitely lesser than whatever base that you raise to y because y is greater than x. So the first part makes sense. The next part is the one that is tricky. Kasi nga, if b is in between 0 and 1, no? B raised to x now is greater than b raised to y even if, or even only if I should say, even if x is lesser than y. Why is that so? Bakit ganito ang kanyang pangyayari? That is because it is actually a reciprocal. Kasi nga, in between ang b. So, ano ba ang in between ng 0 at 1? Ano ang in between ng 0 at saka 1? Those are all decimal parts. 0.001, 0.002, 0.003. Tama man? And these decimal parts are all what? Fractions, no? So, fractions silang lahat. And remember, sorry, anong nangyari? Okay, fractions silang lahat. And remember, if it's fractions, therefore, kailangan mo siyang i-reciprocal. At pag i-reciprocal mo siya, meaning, mag-change ang sign. Okay? I think it's not in your module, but to clarify this one, to better clarify this property, let us go to the rules of solving an exponential inequality. Let me just delete this one. Okay. So we have 3 rules in solving exponential inequality. So same real number, if you are going to add or subtract the same real number, the sign of the inequality does not change. So for example, if you have 2 to the power of x is greater than 2x plus 3 to the power of 2x. Kunwari lang, let's say, palitan ko na lang to guys ha. Kunwari lang, you will deduct 2 both sides para matanggal to. No, kunwari lang ha. So, I will deduct negative 2 and then dito din mag-negative 2. Sorry, so may positive dapat dyan, no? So, ma-delete ito siya, no? Ma-cancel out. In this case, hindi natin babaguhin ang sign. We do not do anything with the sign because we just subtracted a real number, the same real number to both sides of the inequality. It is okay. Now, if we are going to multiply or divide the same positive real number to an exponential inequality, the sign does not change as well. So, for example now, sa tingin ko, okay, let me see. So, for example, 2x is greater than 3, for example. So, kung magta-times tayo dito ng, let's say, 1/2, kunwari lang, 1/2, both sides, it does not change the sign. Okay, now, you might realize or you might ask, teach, we know this. Alam namin itong mga bagay-bagay na to teach. Kasi nga, ito talaga ang rules ng inequality matagal na, no? Kahit nung junior high school, grade 7 perhaps. Ito lang yung part na iba. So, if now you are going to multiply or divide the same negative real number to an exponential inequality, then change the sign. Okay? So, for example, pinakamadaling example na maisip ko is something like this. So, hindi pwedeng negative yung x. So, i-times mo siya both sides by negative 1, right? Now, your final answer should be x is less than negative 3. Change the sign. Okay? So, that also has something to do with the fact that kailangan mo siyang i-reciprocal. Okay? Kaya, doon sa part natin kanina, doon sa property natin kanina, that is why, let me go back there. Okay, that is why, even if x is less than y, if b, is in between 0 and 1, then b raised to x is still greater than b raised to y. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng property na yan. Okay? So, let's try solving perhaps the inequalities. So, let me go here. So, we have a sample. 3x is less than 9x raised to x minus 2. So, the same approach na ginawa natin kanina sa equation, dapat pareho sila ng base. So, we know that 3 is 3 square raised to x minus 2. And still going to use the 1-to-1 property. So, 2 times x minus 2. And then solve as is. Oh my God, nagkamali ako guys. Hindi pa pala. I-distribute ko pa pala, no? So, x, 2x minus 4. Tama ba? So, solve as is. Ilipat mo dito yung x. Guys, ito na yun, no? Dito na natin magagamit yung rules. Because in all technicality, ang ginagawa ko actually is mag-minus ako dito ng x, no? At mag-minus din ako dito ng x. Ito, magiging 0. No? So, that is why nalipat siya dito. Now, itong 4 naman, mag-add naman ako ng 4 at mag-add din ako ng 4 dito sa kabila para ito naman sila na part ang maging 0. That is why, dito sa baba, ang maiwan na is 2x minus x and then sa kabila is 4. That's what's happening, pero sometimes, it's just easy to just, simply isipin mo lang na pag nilipat mo dun sa kabila, mag-change yung sign ng number. Well, anyway, but that's what's happening behind the scenes. So, anyway, 2x minus x is just x. So, x is greater than 4. So, meaning, the solution for this, the solution set for this function is going to be 4 to positive infinity. Now, why is it so? Mag-checking tayo. Para malaman natin kung tama itong mga pina-check natin, itong solution natin. Let's say x is equals to 4, and then let's say x is equals to 5, because 5 is greater than 4. So, we are saying that x should be greater than 4. So, kung gawin nating value ng x is 4, dapat mali yung sagot, 'di ba? Dapat maging false ang inequality na to. And dito naman sa x is equals to 5, it should be within the solution set. So, meaning, dapat maging true ang inequality na ito. So, let's try, So, using calculator again, 3 to the power of 4 is what? 81. And then, 9 to the power of 4 minus 2 is 2. 9 square is 81. Okay, teach. Tama man lagi. But remember, guys, this is less than. It is not less than or equal to. Wala siyang ganyan. It means less than. Okay? And 81 is not less than 81. 81 is equal to 81. Okay? So, meaning this is still false. Now, let's try 5. 3 raised to 5 is 243. And then, 5 minus 2 is 3. So, 9 raised to 3 is equals to 7. Sorry, bakit equal sign yung nilagay ko dyan? Dapat less than. Okay, 7 to 9. Now, this is true. So, meaning, we have already checked that indeed, the solution set for this inequality is 4 until positive infinity. Remember, guys, kung open parenthesis, it does not mean that kasali ang value na 4. It's just that it starts there. So, meaning, kung 4.1 yan siya, or 4.01, it belongs to the solution set. Try nyo, guys. Try niyo. Sige, try ko na lang ngayon. 3 to the power of 4.01 is 81.89. 81.89. It's supposed to be less than 9 raised to the power of 4.01 minus 2. Okay. It is indeed because it is 82.799. Okay. So, as you can see, although 4 ang nakalagay dito, it doesn't mean that the value 4 is included, but it starts there. Okay? Next, let's try to solve problem number 2 or sample number 2 in your modules. 1 over 10 raised to x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 1 over 100 raised to 3x. Okay. Now, we know also that 1 over 100 is, ang 100 is 10 square, Tama man? So, magiging 110 x plus 5 is greater than 1 over 10 square times 3x na siya, Now, using again the 1-to-1 property, it will become x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 2 times 3x, which is 6x. Okay, anyway. X plus 5 is greater than 6x. Okay. So, solve as is. So, mag-minus din tayo. Lipat natin yung hindi mag-change ang sign because we are just deducting the same thing. Real number. So, 6x minus x and then maiiwan dyan yung 5. So it will be 6 minus x is 5x, no? And then to get x, just divide both sides by 5. So meaning x is less than or equal to 1. Okay, so meaning the solution set for this function will be including ang 1. Included ang 1 because of the equal to or greater than, So, i-check natin. Mag-checking tayo kung tama ba yan. So, let's say, x is equals to 1 kasi kasali man daw ang 1, diba? Let's say, mas mababa sa 1. X is equals to 0. And then we have x is equals to 1. And then, something that belongs here sa infinity na to. So, x is equals to 2, let's say. So, kung 0 ang x, no? So, magiging, okay, sorry. So, 0 plus 5, 5. So, 1 over 10 raised to 5 is equals to 1 over 100,000. It should be using the original sign. So, it should be like this. So, 1 over 100. 3 times 0 is 0. Tama man? And anything that is, sa 0 is 1. So, this is not correct. This is false. Kasi, itong fraction na to, maliit to na number. So, this is false, no? Automatically. But, napakaliit kasi na number to, 1 over 100,000. And it's greater than or equal to 1? Of course not, right? It's false. Now, let's try kung 1. So, 1 over 10, 1 plus 5 is 6. So, 1 over 10 raised to 6 is 1 over 1 million. Okay, grabe na to. Okay, and then, 1 times 3, ito na part, 3 lang din. So, 1 over 100 raised to 3 is 1 over 1 million din. So, this is true because of this, no? Greater than or equal to man. So, it still is correct. So, true siya. So, this is now true, no? So, meaning, tama na ang x is equals to 1 is indeed, it really does belong to the solution set. Now, let's try x is equals to 2. So, 2 plus 5. Tama ba? Plus. Okay. So, 1 over 10 raised to 7. 1 over, grabe na, 10 million. 1 over 10 million is greater than or equal to, so 3 times 2 is 6, so 1 over 100 the power of 6. Okay. So 1 over 1 times 10 to the 12th power. So, ibig sabihin 12 na zeros, guys. Masyado nang madami para isulat ko. Kung 12 zeros, it is obviously lesser than only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. Tama man. So, this is still true. Meaning, indeed, our solution set is correct. Okay, tama ito siya na solution set. Okay, so anyway, I hope you will enjoy solving this part. This is solving in exponential equations and inequalities. There's a hidden message there. And also this part is just identification. It's easy. And then the next part na show ko na sa inyo ang table and graph of an exponential function. And then sa last lesson, which is, if I'm not mistaken, ano ba yung last part? Domain and range, at saka yung intercepts, zeros, at saka asymptotes na discuss na rin natin kanina sa live virtual class natin. So, I think we have ended this module and I hope that you will enjoy solving the yung mga activities. So, if you have any more questions, you can go ahead and PM me or post questions on the group chat. Thank you so much for watching this video lesson. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.